Alright, what's up guys? Happy Saturday. It's a nice, cozy, and rainy day today, and I figured that I would talk about this topic because this one mindset change really expanded my whole scope of what I thought I could accomplish as myself. So the idea is the us versus them mindset, and let me explain that to you guys. In every society, there is the us and there is the them. For example, if you have a tribe and another tribe. So if I'm in a tribe and we come across another tribe, the idea is there's us and then there's them. And this can manifest in many different ways, and it does manifest in many different ways in society still. So it can be tribal, where it's, you know, by community, by class. So it can be like lower class, middle class, upper class. It can be the haves and the have-nots, the oppressed and the oppressors. It can be by skin color, by race. It can be many different things. So no matter how you look at it, humans will naturally gravitate towards the group that they identify with the most. On like the very basic level, that's family. On a more broad level, it can be race, whole economic class, or it can be by country. If you're American, then you can identify maybe more with Americans. It's the us, and then every other country is them. But today, I really want to speak more about the us and them mindset when it comes to the haves and the have-nots. And I mean that mostly with the middle class or lower class and the people who have lots of money, or the people who have successful businesses, or who are wealthy through investing or any other means. I've had this mindset for most of my life until very recently. So I'm not just speaking about it as if I've never been in the position of having that mindset, but I'm speaking to you guys like I've been there, and I kind of want you guys to see the other side of it. So I see this narrative, I don't know like a better word for it, but this narrative all the time, especially when I'm scrolling through tweets and tweet replies, where people who have never owned a successful business, or people who have never owned or had lots of money or owned lots of assets or had any type of fortune in their life when it comes to assets, money, power. They like to speak about people who own successful businesses or made lots of money through investing, and just kind of downplay that person's position. So for example, somebody might look at a real estate investor. Say for example, this person owns 15 houses and they rent those houses out to regular people. A lot of people who have never owned real estate for the purpose of investing or renting it out might look at a landlord like that and say they must be scum, or they must be some type of selfish or arrogant, or they must be stepping on people's toes, or how could you buy up so many properties and have people pay you to live in them? That's a greedy person. They must have inherited that money. There's no way that you could ever have that much money without being lucky. You know, there's all of these negative labels and negative ideas that pop into people's heads when they see somebody who is successful through investing or through business. And I was once there because I didn't understand that really everybody has the access to knowledge that they need in order to be successful in investing or in business. I used to, and I still catch myself today thinking about people who certain types of businesses, and I think to myself, they must just be a genius, or they must have had lots of money in order to be able to start that company. And most of that mindset is really just ignorance. Like, I didn't know that I could start a business until I actually tried starting a business. I didn't know that you don't always need lots of money to start a business or any type of investing venture in order to be successful in that. I didn't know that you didn't have to be a genius or have certain connections in order to buy real estate or start a software business or have a service online. I didn't know that. But my mindset was just, it's me and the people who look like me, the people who have similar incomes as me, and then there's the others, the people who have more power, or they have more money, or they have more smarts and education situation, when really the only difference between me and the person that I really wanted to be, or the person that I was looking at and saying they must have something I don't have, the only difference was they just had the knowledge. And if you think about it, a lot of that knowledge is on Google, a lot of that knowledge is in books, a lot of that knowledge is on YouTube. So most people who have never started a business, never invested, they look at people who have started businesses and have invested, and they just think that that route was so easy for them. Like, oh, it must have been easy. They must have just, you know, had X, Y, and Z qualities, and it just came so easily for them. That could never be so easy for me. I could never do that. That's how a lot of people think, and that's how I used to think until I bought my own house, and until I started my own business, and until I started investing my own money. And I realized this is not easy for anybody unless you are born and there's, like, you know, a large sum of money in your bank account, like you've inherited it. It's not easy for anybody. And when you look at a lot of people who have started businesses themselves and made lots of money from it, or invested and made lots of money from it, most of those people did not inherit their money. It's an actual fact that most millionaires made their own money themselves. They are self-made. You can actually look that up on Google. How many millionaires are self-made? And they'll show you the breakdown that shows most millionaires are self-made. So there's a lot of ignorance that you have to break down within yourself, and that I still have to break down myself every day when it comes to what I believe I can accomplish. And I have to break down that barrier of us and them, me and whoever I aspire to be. It's very easy to either put somebody on a pedestal and say that they had all of these exceptional qualities, or demonize somebody and say that they must be a terrible person who stepped on many toes in order to get into that position, or whatever it is. It's easy to put those labels on people who have wealth and have success and have power, but that is what keeps you separate from them. That's what keeps you feeling like you can't accomplish what they have accomplished. So that's my whole opinion on that situation. If you find yourself feeling like you can't accomplish what somebody else has accomplished, or you wouldn't dare do what somebody else has done because that would probably make you a crappy person, or if you look at somebody who's driving a nice Mercedes and you think, oh, they must have inherited their money, or oh, they must be married to somebody wealthy, notice that and take a step back and just do some research. I started off by researching a lot of owners and founders of companies, and even just watching YouTube videos of people like my age, millennials and Gen Z, like young people who have built businesses or invested and made lots of money in short periods of time. I think you'll be amazed to know how many of those people didn't just inherit their money, and how many of those people didn't have to do scummy things in order to get their wealth. And I think once you really break down that wall and that veil, you'll realize, oh, I can do this too. I don't have to be wealthy already. I don't have to have money to make money. That's another phrase that I hate hearing. You need money to make money, or you have to have money to make money. I don't know how long ago that might have been true, but definitely it is not true today. Like, for example, just look at all of the people who got popular on the internet, on Instagram, YouTube, or whatever other platform. Look at all those people who just got on a platform and did something, and then they were able to create an audience off of that. And then they were able to sell some products or get sponsored or collaborate with people, and they ended up having lots of money from that. Like, they didn't have to have money to get on a platform and do what they did to make money, but they did it. You know, we're not back in like the 17 or 1800s where you have to have a bunch of money in order to invest in like a coal mine or something and then make more money. We're way past that. We are in the digital age, and we have access to so much knowledge and so much technology. So that's my thought on the us versus them mindset. In a future video, I actually want to share with you guys how I went about purchasing my house, like the whole process of it, what was my experience and the thoughts that I had throughout the whole process, how I feel about it now. I actually did make a video about buying a house a few years ago, but I definitely need to update it because I've gotten so much better at speaking in front of the camera, and I think that I know more of what people would like to hear and would like to know about the process. But that whole thing of me buying my first house, it was really important to me, and I kind of like made it a top priority for so long because I didn't have an example in my life of somebody who looked like me who started investing in real estate. I never had that example of anybody in my life, and I wanted to be that person. I wanted to be that person for the people who know me in real life and people online. Like today, I can name one, maybe two people, one online and one that I know in person, who looks like me and who invests in real estate. Like when I first had this idea, I didn't even know anybody who was doing what I wanted to do, but I just knew in my head, I don't need somebody, like I don't need an example. I don't need to see it done by somebody who looks like me in order to know that somebody like me can do it. So it was kind of like a really big goal that I had for myself, and I'm really glad I did it because now I can speak on it and be an example for other people who think, I don't know if I can do this. Nobody else I know or nobody else who looks like me has done it. Now here I am. But I definitely want to speak more about that in future videos for you guys. But until then, I will catch you guys tomorrow and the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and in the next video. Thanks for watching and have a good rest of your day.